They say that time is money. There are 2 points of intersection in everybody's life where the first intersection, money becomes more important than your time. And then second, whenever the time becomes more important than money. And in today's video, I'm going to dive into a story from Frank Bettger from back in World War II that completely illustrates this example to a T. Hey, this is Brandon. I am going to share with you guys one of my all-time favorite books. Now, yes, I will be doing a mind map on this one, but if I had to say this book here, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettger, is probably one of my, if it's not in my top 10, it's got to be very close. I have it completely highlighted up, and I've gone back through so many different things, but I was recently thinking about the value of time and how it pertains to people's life. And it completely reminded me of a story. I went back, I found it in this book, and I'm going to share it with you because I think it is so massively powerful to understand human psychology as far as value, whether it's money and time. So Frank Bettger was a salesman. He was an insurance salesman, and this is going back to World War II. So he says, just before World War II, I was giving a series of lectures in several Western cities. Invariably, after I spoke on a subject, a few men would come up and ask questions. And one night in Des Moines, Iowa, a middle-aged man said, "Mr. Bettger, I can see that this idea has been a great help to you in selling life insurance. But I solicit subscriptions for a nationally known magazine. How can I apply it to my work?" He and I had a frank discussion, and this man had tried selling various lines for several years and obviously had grown very cynical. After I suggested a different method of approach to him, he left, but I didn't feel that he was very enthusiastic about our interview. The following Saturday morning, I was having my hair cut in Hotel Fort Des Moines barbershop when the man rushed in and said he heard that I was leaving early in the afternoon, and he just had to tell me something. "After your talk on Tuesday night, Mr. Bettger," he said with surprising excitement, "I realized why I wasn't getting anywhere. I had been trying to sell magazines to businessmen, but most of them told me they were so busy they didn't have time to read the magazines they already subscribed to. So on Wednesday, I succeeded in obtaining a letter from one of the most prominent judges in the city saying that he takes our magazine because it gives him all of the really important and interesting news of the week in one short evening of reading. Then I procured a large list of prominent businessmen in the city who are already subscribers. Now, Mr. Bettger, when I approach a man, I show him the judge's letter and this list. And the very objection which has been stopping me is now my biggest asset. What I am trying to tell you is that I am no longer peddling magazines. I'm selling businessmen something they all want. I'm selling the most precious thing in life, more time." So I think that's a very profound example of selling something money where people are just so busy. People don't want to buy another magazine. People don't want to buy another course. What they want is the result. What they want is a transformation, or they want to be able to save time. Now, different people throughout different stages of their life, they're all going to have a different inflection point, but bear with me here. So let's say, for example, this line here represents the value of time. So basically, we have value, we have age, starting at age 0, which is birth, and then up to 80, which is close to what the average man in the United States lives to. We have different points in our life. So we have this value as we get older, the time goes up, and then when we die, time, it doesn't matter to us at that point. You're dead, and you are going to have it drop down to right here as far as what the value of time is to you. It completely goes to 0. Versus if you are, let's say, looking at the value of money, whenever we're born, there is no value for it, essentially. Our moms are taking care of us, our dads are taking care of us, they're feeding us, they're getting us to where they need to go. And then we turn about 10 years old. Once we're 10 years old, then we start to have some basic human wants and needs. We want to get an allowance. We're going to go and cut the neighbor's grass so we can get a couple bucks and go, whatever, buy some ice cream with the kids or some pizza. But you get a little blip where you have this basic desire. So essentially, your money's still not of much value to you, and your time is still increasing in value. And then you have this certain point where you're going to have this inflection point. For most people, it's going to be around age 40. They're going to start having like this midlife crisis type thing where they're starting to realize their mortality, and that at some point they're going to take their last breath. Their heart is going to beat for the last time. And they start to realize the value of time and how precious it is. And at age 20, though, they're still young. They have this very rapid valuing of money. They're going to go out, they're going to start to work, they're going to get their jobs, they're going to go out, buy homes, they're going to get married, they're going to start to have children. So instantly, like somewhere around age like 18 to 25, or maybe even a little later, 28, if somebody's going through college, becoming a doctor or whatever, but let's say the age of 20, they're going to rapidly, that value is going to increase. So here's the first inflection. Is when somebody gets that job, money is going to be more valuable to them most of the time than time. And it's going to stay that point. Sorry about that. So it's going to stay that point until they hit that age where, actually, let me redraw that report. Okay, so that value of money is going to probably be more valuable than time to them until they get to this point where they start to realize their mortality and that they have a very limited time here on earth. And they then are going to have this switch. There's going to be the second point of intersection, this inflection point, where time then becomes more valuable to them. And that's going to continue along that path where the money is still going to be valuable to them, but they're having more value placed on their time. And I think whenever I think about this story that Frank put together, Frank Bettger, and he's talking about the successful businessmen and they're looking to save time. These business owners are probably up in here, and if they can figure out a way to save some time and take all of this information that's being consumed and put it into one quickly digestible thing, then there's a lot of value to them in that. So you're going to continue till you hit 60, and then what's going to happen? Money isn't really going to matter to you at that point. And it's not going to be as important. You're kind of on a horizon of your life, and you're kind of coming down to the final days. And again, everybody has different inflection points on what that looks like. But essentially, once you die, your money is of no value. It has absolutely, yes, you might be able to pass some on to future generations, but for you, again, your time goes from a huge value right before you're dead to nothing. And then you also have this valuation where it literally drops to zero. Like money is of no value to you. You cannot take gold with you to heaven. You're not able to take any of your belongings with you. You're gone. And that value right there, the time money value graph, is very important because whenever you're trying to figure out who your target audience is, if you're trying to sell them time and the savings that's associated with that, it's going to have different impact for different people depending on the stage of their life. If somebody is in a younger age where they're 20 or 40 years old, selling somebody that is going to make them more money is probably of more importance to them because they're striving to accumulate that savings towards retirement. They have kids' education that they're trying to save up. They have things that they would like to do, places they would like to see. And then you get that inflection point where you're like, you know what? Money is really not as important to me anymore. I care more about my physical fitness. I care more about my spirituality and getting to heaven one day. I care more about my relationships with my family, with my friends, with my children, with my wife. And I want to pour into that. And if I can figure out a way to do that with the limited time that I have available, then I'm willing to invest my resources into those items. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you got some value out of the video. If you have any different takes on it, I would love to hear them in the comments below. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. We'll talk to you in the next video.